Storm clouds from earlier over Toyota Field, they have cleared. And for the first time in 16 months, this stadium will be at full capacity tonight. And why not? Be fireworks after the game, but there'll be fireworks probably on the field. It's our first Central Texas Derby of the season. San Antonio FC and Austin Bold FC here on Bally Sports. And a pleasant good evening, everyone. Welcome upstairs to the broadcast booth with the coach, Tim Hankinson. I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you with us. Coach, the season flips from June to July. I'm sure nobody is happier than San Antonio FC, because they need to get back to playing like they did at the start of the season.
Yeah, you look at the last game and our possession, our number of passes over 90 minutes, our shots and also crosses were much improved. Great numbers. We're just not finishing, and that's the partnership that we have to find up top with Dylan and Patino.
And you see for SAFC, it wasn't a total wash in June, 4 points, but out of a possible 15, they certainly expected a lot more than that. And the reason they expect a lot more than that is that they're hoping they haven't left points on the table once we get to the end of the season, because as you look at the Mountain Division standings coming into tonight's match, both these clubs sit below the playoff line, 12 points. Austin Bold FC has played one fewer game.
The head-to-head one, this is one of our rivals. I know we talk about RGV, but Austin, being a fairly new club, only a couple of years old up the road, this is one that we have to go head-to-head. It's our home park. It's our July 4th. Both teams with 12 points. Both teams behind the line.
San Antonio FC doesn't have a multi-goal effort since May 22nd against Birmingham Legion, and they're hopeful that the return of Santiago Patino to the lineup last week against Real Monarchs SLC will be the boost. Still leads the team, Tim, with 5 goals in 7 matches that he's played.
Yeah, I mean, he's an outstanding player. I remember coaching against him when he was in Fort Lauderdale and in Miami FC. Outstanding number of goals in average to per game. But it's about partnership. When you play alone, you're making your own decisions. When you play with another striker, as in Dylan, you got to figure each other out. And he's coming back from 3-game suspension, so he's got to get sharp, and then he's got to learn about this new partnership.
Meanwhile, that's Ugo Okoli, the former MVP in the USL Championship back in 2016 with Cincinnati. He is their leading goal scorer, 3 goals for the first 9 matches.
Outstanding player, and he's not the only weapon they've got. They have Omar Gordon, a former player for SAFC. Tremendous pace on the outside, DF on the other side, and Pino up top. So when their counterattack stops, they run a lot of speed at you, very fast, and we have to be ready for that.
Hard to believe we get to July without seeing our rival just 90 miles up the road. But again, fireworks expected on the field tonight between San Antonio and Austin, ahead of the fireworks that will come afterwards in front of this capacity crowd. We've got soccer to kick off your 4th of July weekend. Coming up next on Bally Sports. I need one more water. Thanks, Bobby. All right. Okay. There. Okay. San Antonio FC Soccer on Bally Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Go by at Toyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. 4th of July weekend here in South Texas, and San Antonio FC and Austin Bold FC meeting for the first time here in the 2020-2021 campaign as we take a look at the starting 11s for both sides. Let's start with the visitors from up I-35 in Austin. And a lot of the success for them this year has been from the back. Elliot Panico, former 13th overall pick by Nashville in Major League Soccer, has allowed just 3 goals through his 7 starts this season. Omar Gordon, former San Antonio FC midfielder, has had a nice start here for Austin. For San Antonio FC, Matt Cardoni makes his 11th consecutive start, his 21st consecutive start in USL play, and his 88th all-time match with an all-time record of 36, 29, and 21 and a 1.41 goals against average to lead San Antonio FC. As you see, Santiago Patino, who made his return from a 3-match suspension last Saturday in Salt Lake City. The San Antonio FC played to a draw. It was their 5th draw in the last 6 matches as we take a look at a tail of the tape here between San Antonio FC and Austin Bold FC ahead of tonight's matchup. Is looking on, Alan Marcino looking for a win. And you see, Tim, for San Antonio FC, they got off to such a hot start scoring goals, have kind of come back to the pack. On the same token, it also brought down the number of goals conceded, where for Austin, again, their biggest strength has been on the back end. 4 clean sheets, which is second most in USL play.
No question. And teams win championships by just not losing games, not shooting themselves in the foot, taking pride in the clean sheet, and they certainly seem to be playing that way. But don't underestimate their attack, their ability to counter with their 4 players, their 2 strikers and wingers. Great pace, great speed, and can be dangerous if we push too high up and get caught.
The first installment of the Central Texas Derby here in 2021 is underway. San Antonio FC and Austin Bold FC on 4th of July weekend from Toyota Field. Our opening kick brought to you by Pizza Hut, along with the coach Tim Hankinson, Hayden Partain, the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, and our entire team in the truck. I'm Dan Weiss. Happy 4th of July weekend. Hope you're having a pleasant one as Pino inside the box early for Austin, trying to get the first attempt on frame and blocked outside of the area. Kickoff tonight, 85 degrees, rain-cooled 85 degrees. It's humid out there with dew points in the 70s, so feeling sticky, but a nice breeze coming out of the east, about 11 miles an hour. I don't care how humid it is, Tim. We'll take 85 degrees on July 4th weekend here.
Easily. You know, Pino is quite a player. I actually have to apologize. I made a mistake thinking that Patino is the one who played at Fort Lauderdale, and Miami FC was Pino. And he is one heck of a striker and a great goal scorer. So even though Okoli has all of the accolades right now, his strike partner is going to be very dangerous to contain all night.
Liam Doyle, the clearance out of the area. San Antonio FC in their home black kits, the checkered red and white. Austin Bold FC in their away white kits trimmed in black. It's the 7th all-time meeting between these squads since Austin Bold FC joined USL back in 2019. San Antonio with 3 wins against 2 defeats and a draw. They've never lost to Austin here at home. 2 wins and a draw, and have outscored Bold 12-8 in the 6 meetings, as Omar Gordon getting his first touch. Brings it inside the area with the visitors getting on their front foot early and getting into the back of the net early as well. Atez Diop from Omar Gordon just 2 minutes into this one, and the visitors with an early 1-0 lead.
Well, you know, Omar Gordon, we certainly are familiar with him. He played here. He played for me in Jamaica and also with Indy 11. He's played Oklahoma City. He's got great pace, great one-on-one ability, and his ability to get down to that end line and play a ball across, and a great finish. I mean, one-touch finishes like that coming from your side angle really takes great control to keep the ball on the frame.
That's Diop's first goal of the season after 4 goals in 13 matches a year ago for the 21-year-old who comes from the SEMA Academy, soccer academy down in Orlando, Florida, along with his native Senegalese countryman Omar Sis, who begins on the bench tonight for Marcelo Serrano's Austin Bold Club. They returned 15 players, Tim, from last year's squad that went 5-4-7, finished 3rd in Group D, did not qualify for the playoffs, but remember the last time they played San Antonio FC in Austin, won 2-1, as that kind of gave San Antonio FC a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth going into the postseason the following week, and may have showed against New Mexico.
Yeah, I think that this game will get very testy tonight between these 2 teams. A lot of pride on the line. But, you know, the Austin team made a decision when they brought in this group of players a year ago. And even though their results were not what they had hoped for, instead of breaking up the team and starting over, like almost every one of the USL teams typically do, they kept with this group. They stuck with it and say, let's take what we learned last year, build on it, find strength from familiarity rather than strength from trying to hope that the next crop of players that we bring here or sign are better. So it's a good strategy and builds consistency.
So San Antonio FC finds themselves down very early in the match. In fact, in the 27 games since Alan Marcin has been at the helm, that's only the 3rd goal that San Antonio FC has conceded in the opening quarter hour, as compared to 9 in which they've scored.
Yeah, we got caught without pressure on the ball. Again, getting help to our defender marking Omar Gordon so that he doesn't have the freedom to get his head up and play that ball across. And then when that ball is played, our reaction, you cannot wait for the ball to get to an opponent. You have to react and move with the ball to be able to step in and block tackle.
See Joaquin Varela back in the starting 11 tonight, as Axel Schuberg out of the lineup tonight with injury. And again, coach, the injury list for San Antonio FC continues to be a lengthy one. PC misses once again for a 6th consecutive match here tonight. Connor Maloney continues to nurse a lower body injury, has not played at all this year. Jordan Peruzza misses a 2nd straight match, and Chris Lemma misses a match tonight. Also, the backup keeper, Carlos Mercado, who we have not seen, he's out as well. And because of that, San Antonio FC had to add a couple of their academy goaltenders to the roster, to the first team on academy contracts, and Daniel de Guzman will serve as the backup keeper tonight on the bench for the first time.
It's one of the great benefits of having an academy program that your replacement player, even if it's for one game because of an injury, he's right in your backyard. He's at your fingertips. Before we had academies, if you had lost a player and had to get a player on loan, you're calling every team in the country trying to find someone.
Oh, Justin Dillon, on a great service from Marcus Epps, getting to that back post and just turning the header wide of frame.
Yeah, and then that player that you bring in on loan, trying to get him in time, hoping to have one practice with you, and he's not happy because he knows he's coming in not to play but to sit the bench, so he's not a happy camper. When you bring a guy up from your academy, even if he doesn't get playing time that night, he feels honored to join the first team, so it's very healthy.
So Daniel de Guzman, the backup keeper tonight to Matt Cardoni. And San Antonio FC once again concedes. Coach, they only have 1 clean sheet this season. That was on opening night, 3-0 against Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. They aren't a club that concedes multiple goals, but when you concede 1 consistently every game, does that become something of an issue?
You always want, if you want to be a championship team, you've got to average, goal against average. It needs to be below 1. You know, it doesn't have to be 0.5, but it needs to be 0.7, 0.8, where you're not giving up a goal every game. But also to match that, this team has only scored 5 goals in the last 5 games, and 1 goal scored a game is not enough to expect to get 3 points in your schedule when you play. So they've got to get a scoring touch. They've got to get a partnership with Dillon and Patino. They've got to get the wingers going. And Gallegos, who ends up being kind of the creative leader of this group, has got to take players on, attract players, but then release those passes to find the open man.
You see Mathieu Duplan took a shot from Ugo Okoli there in the midsection, went down to ground. He's back to his feet. Duplan's missed some time with injury as he appears tonight in his 7th match. And Ugo Okoli, 3 goals on the season, but like Santiago Patino, he's got a little bit of a temper, Coach. 5 yellows on the season.
I'm sure he's got a different perspective now. I mean, when you go through an experience and make a mistake like that and realize it's not only hurting your career to be suspended 3 games, but it also hurts the progress of the team. You're hurting your teammates. So your perspective changed, and I'm sure that his temperament will be much further under control.
Elliot Panico. Panico has been outstanding, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast. And in fact, he's only seen 12 shots in his 7 starts, conceding 3 goals. The goals against average below 0.5, 0.43 to be exact. Here was a keeper who played at the University of North Carolina in Charlotte, was the Conference USA Player of the Year in 2019. And he had 35 clean sheets in his career at UNC Charlotte.
Well, they've had a great program for 30 years. Some of my favorite college coaches coached there. Frank Kohlenstein got him into the Final 8, and they had a player that played many, many games in Major League, John Bush, who was a great goalkeeper for UNC Charlotte. So they produce great keepers, and it's a great program.
Austin, as a club, outshooting their opponents 31-23 coming into tonight. Just 23 shots on target allowed. Conversely, San Antonio FC has, including the shot they've conceded here tonight, have surrendered 48 shots against through their 10 matches, 45 shots for. But we showed you that note on the bottom to start the telecast. Just 4 goals on their last 59 shots on target. 7% conversion rate in the month of June, which has dropped their overall conversion rate down to below 12% coming into tonight's match.
Yeah, I mean, to be a goal scorer, you need tremendous confidence. And you need qualities that isn't just about hitting the ball, striking the ball as hard as you can at the frame. You have to pick your spots. You have to have that quick read of where the keeper is. Is he high, low? Is he opening up a post for you? And just when the confidence is shaken, when you're not scoring, it's like a sinkhole that gets worse and worse sometimes. And it takes a breakout game where you suddenly get back to scoring some great goals and everyone feels like they can do it too. But that's really up to Pino and it's up to Dylan to be those two guys that the team can lean on to be productive.
And in the course of this 6-match winless streak that began back on the 29th of May, San Antonio FC, they've tinkered with their lineup. Back to 4 in the back here for the second consecutive week after switching from that 3-5-1-4-2 formation that they had become accustomed to playing with very much over the last couple of seasons. Back to 4 in the back here again tonight. We'll see if it makes a difference here as they've fallen behind early, 1-0 at home. Into the box, headed on frame, great save by Panico, turns away the free header in the box from Santiago Patino.
You know, you always like to stay with a system, and of course, if it's a system that works, you don't like to do a lot of tinkering. But looking at the matchup tonight, where you have Austin playing almost 2 wingers and 2 center forwards, if you're playing only 3 at the back and you're asking your wing midfielder to cover Omar Gordon or Diop on the outsides, they're never going to get in the attack. And so I think going with a back 4 where your wingers, like Epps, can push higher and be more threatening, knowing they've got covering wing backs sitting in behind them, I think is a good adjustment for tonight.
Diop, the goal scorer, in possession over by that far touchline as he switches the play across to Omar Gordon, who scored 6 times in 35 matches as a member of San Antonio FC, as he gets a step on Sam Gleadle inside the box, and Gleadle will end up conceding the first corner of the match to Austin.
See, but in that particular case where Gleadle is running step for step with Omar, but you saw how quickly Doyle came out to double team him and making sure that partnership of 2 defenders shutting down the pace and dribbling ability of Omar. Even though it led to a corner kick, it became a non-threat at that point. So it's well done.
Saw the last opportunity for Patino. Might have been going a little bit wide, but Elliot Panico wasn't taking any chances. Meanwhile, Juan Pablo Torres, the 21-year-old from Georgia, 3 MLS matches to his credit with NYCFC, will service in, and that's headed over frame by Fabian Garcia, the Frenchman center back, coming up from his center back position.
Well, the Austin team, they've got some wonderful players. Baez, you know, who's played so many professional games in Mexico. And like I said, this front 4 is always going to be a threat. If you're not playing well as a team, if your possession isn't there, when you have that kind of speed up top that you can go to, where guys can break quickly, and they know their style, they know their strengths. So when the break starts, you don't have spectators watching them. You have teammates who are breaking with you.
We saw Javi Baez deliver maybe one of the goals of the season last year in USL here at Toyota Field on a first-time finish on a service from the wing that he took it just outside the 6-yard box. A tremendous strike into the corner of the net.
I remember that, yeah.
Gallegos, too much possession with the ball as he gets dispossessed.
Yeah, and these are the tendencies we've noticed this season. Is in that particular case, there were 3 Austin players surrounding him, and therefore you have no place to go. But you have to recognize that you've done your job. You've drawn a group of defenders, and therefore you have teammates that are open, and you have to get better at releasing the pass or the cross to find those open players.
Sam Gleadle, a heavy touch there as it rides out across the byline. And a free kick awarded to Elliot Panico. As you see Gleadle, he appears in his 11th consecutive match. Alan Marcino looks on, his team down 1 here early. Atez Diop scoring for the first time this season in just the 2nd minute of this match. As you see Elliot Panico, he's wearing the headgear, which we're seeing more players don. Concussions, of course, have become much more common, certainly much more of a factor in this game.
Yeah, the whole concussion scene has really created great awareness, and leagues are making adjustments as they have to with the type of substitution and evaluation of players. And in a case like this where you have headgear, then good for him if he feels safer and better protected.
And Liam Doyle is going to go into the books here early with a head collision. Stefano Pino gets up to his feet, and he's assessed a caution in the 15th minute.
Well, one of the things you mentioned earlier were the injuries. I think San Antonio have been very unlucky this year. Always seems like another player is going down each match. And in particular, you look at a player like PC, and I made this reference before. I heard it on one of the Euro games, one of the announcers saying, well, that player is like the metronome of the team. And PC, to me, is San Antonio's metronome, where he decides what pace we tick at. And without him, now for 4 or 5 games, you're constantly shuffling, well, who can fill in, who can get that job done. And it's hard to replace that.
No, volleying along there with Matt Cardoni out of position, trying to reach over for the ball there by the near post. Cleared outside the area before Amobi Akugo will take it just outside the box. Torres lifts it to that back post there. Okoli will bring it back out. Ugo Okoli wide on Varela into the box, and Deplan will head out. But again, taken back by Austin, and again it's Dioff, but this time too heavy with that drive as it's over frame. But Austin Bold FC, who's coming off a draw last Saturday night against Oakland, the new Oakland Roots squad in USL play 0-0 in Northern California. Maybe much more aggressive offensively than perhaps we might have thought looking at the numbers coming into tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I thought early in the season Austin was not in the top 4 as a group, and we underestimated Colorado, who we had that tremendous start to the season with, but now all of a sudden they're in the top 4, and so it's a long season, and you have to find yourself and find consistency. You have to not beat yourself, and you have to build a confidence that we know how to score goals, or at least create great chances, not half chances.
Well, the goal for Austin, just their 10th in 10 matches. They came into tonight tied for 26th in total goals, and even worse, 28th in shots, just 82 total shots, although a 48% shooting accuracy, whereas San Antonio FC 6th in total shots at 141, but an accuracy of just 41% on those 141 shots.
Yeah, and it's again all about the efficiency. I mean, there are strikers you give one chance to and he scores a goal. Other guys need 5 or 6 chances and still don't score a goal. So as a team, it's the same thing. We can shoot all night, but if we're not making the keeper work and finding the corners, showing that composure, and having enough quality to be able to place a ball where you want. And that can sometimes be the problem, is needing players with a higher level quality to produce the goals we need.
Juan Pablo Torres, Amobi Akugo, and a nice combination play back to Torres as Gordon trying to slide it back to Atez Dioff, and instead given away as San Antonio will send it back upfield. But again, the veteran Amobi Akugo, as he's challenged upfield there from Nathan, playing outside here on the left wing tonight. Keeping it in play along the touchline was Justin Dillon before reversed back by Fabian Garcia. Gordon. And a handball whistle against Omar Gordon, who might have been in an offside position anyway. Omar spent the last 2 years playing in Oklahoma City with energy, 6 goals in 42 matches. Brought him over here, coach, to North America. His pedigree is outstanding in his career. 53 goals in 246 total league matches.
Yeah, when he was down in Jamaica, and the Jamaican league is very competitive, but the style is so different. It's more like a street game. A lot of one-on-one, a lot of players breaking and trying to make things happen on their own. Defensively, it's not very tactical. Yes, players get back to defend, but very often they struggle with the information as a coach you give them as to how you want them to defend. And Omar was one of those that when I had him in Montego Bay was the leading scorer of all of Jamaica. Tremendous goal-scoring record. But when he came to Indy 11 and had to take information, it became a little bit more difficult for him, and that took away maybe from his attacking instincts. Maybe my fault for not giving him enough freedom, but he's in the stops he's made has done okay, and he's always got the threat of speed. But I would have hoped that he had been more productive in his years here.
Still only 29 years of age, so even though he's been around the block a few times, he's still got some youthful legs, and he'll be part of the Reggae Boys squad that will head off to play in the Gold Cup here coming up in a couple of weeks. Those Preliminary matches are going on right now in the Gold Cup, but this will likely be Omar Gordon's last USL Championship match here for the month of July as he heads off to join Jamaica, who will play their first match next week. Meanwhile, Austin once again back on the attack inside the box, and a good opportunity, although goes awry for Pino. However, off a San Antonio FC defender will result in a corner.
Yeah, it's always difficult in the middle of the year to lose a player on loan, or not on loan, but to your national team. But you have to give that player the opportunity. It's such an honor. And most teams are only losing one player. In San Antonio's case, we're not losing any. And maybe it's only RGV that is losing 2. So you might lose them for a couple, 2-3 weeks, but other than that, they'll be back, and it just opens the door for other players to have a chance to get in and play.
Third corner already for Austin here. This one balloons towards the back post. Diouf will settle as he carries it back outside the box, and Austin resetting Omar Gordon, and he gets bumped and fouled from Patino. Center referee tonight, Matt Franz, looking over Omar Gordon. Franz working alongside Jeff Skinker and Francisco Bermudez. Sergio Santana is the 4th official in this match. And here's Santiago Patino. A bit of a shove there on Omar Gordon.
Looks like he got stepped on after the ball was cleared away. So he'll have a stinger.
Stepped on his finger. San Antonio FC, 3rd in the USL. And fouls conceded at 167. And a free kick here for Austin. Into the box, and Varela gets up as he heads that one out. Diouf will lift it back in towards the back post as Okoli, the runner there, unable to get to the end of it.
Yeah, now in a build-up at this point, I mean, we're taking a lot of defensive pressure, and now we've got to build a little bit and start to, get more control, build a good chance at the other end. It's just too much defending. And
Nathan.
We're very narrow if you look at it. No one wide, no place to go. That defense just collapses centrally, and you just run into more white shirts. So we have to be smarter about getting players wide so that when they do concentrate their defense, they compact centrally and won't let us play through there, that we can go wide and take advantage of that space.
Epps trying to make the run. Javi Baez. And Gustavo Risi. As he gets it forward here to Omar Gordon, plenty of daylight. Heavy on that touch there. That allows Sam Glidle to come back with the ball and returns to Matt Cardoni.
Yeah, I think for us, there are a couple of things that, for me, I'm not seeing enough of. One is Gallegos. Gallegos has got to find the pocket of space behind Baez and Torres, where he can get on the ball, turn and run at the defense.
Dylan, as he tries to go towards the back post, Panico watches it go over goal.
And the other one is Epps. We've seen Epps take over games at times, coming from an outside position, inside, cutting in the box, finishing, hard, low, far post, really impacting the game. And I know he's occupied right now with Diouf out there, but he's got to present his own game.
Justin Dillon has 3 of San Antonio FC's last 4 goals, including the equalizer in the 77th minute last Saturday night in Utah. In a 1-1 draw against Real Monarchs SLC. Dillon now with 25 career goals in 70 USL matches.
Yeah, we were talking earlier as we went through film this week, we're looking at Dillon's last 2 goals. And both were created by San Antonio's player Wright coming into the game as a substitute. And it was the exact replica of each of those goals where Dillon makes this diagonal run through the box from the right side to the left, and Wright is able to feed the pass into that run. And Dillon, even without looking at where the keeper is, turns, very difficult to hit a dynamic shot, turning like this, and on his left foot, finding the back of the net both times. And that's what we're talking about with Dillon and Patino, is finding a partnership. And right now, Wright and Dillon have found that. And I'm sure we'll see that later in the game and see if they can help recreate that. But these other players have got to find it as well.
Gallegos as he gets around the defense and will recover on the ball here, edge of the box. Works it back to the top of the 18. Trying to turn on it was Nathan. Austin able to recover defensively there as Nathan gets trapped up here 25 yards out. He's got to release it back to Mathieu Duplan. Duplan just didn't do very well with that bid. San Antonio FC had a good build up there in the final third. One of the few times they've had some possession with opportunities to get a good opportunity on frame, and as Nathan lost possession there at the top of the 18 here after Gallegos made an initial tremendous play, it's Duplan who sends it over goal.
Well, that's what we're saying is we're getting shots. It's the quality of the shot, you know? It's either that or he's still upset about France losing.
Yeah, it's not a good week to be a Frenchman. Falling to Switzerland in penalties in the round of 16 at the Euro 2020 Championships, which will feature a great Final Four, Coach.
It is.
Coming
it's going
up.
to be outstanding.
Spain and Italy and Denmark and England.
Right, you know, and everyone is always talking about the quality of players that Italy and Spain have, but once in a while we see these stories about a team coming together, bonding, where it's not just about the quality of the players compared to the other team, where the inspiration and bond is so tight and powerful that they excel beyond their abilities. And this is what we're saying with Denmark.
Yeah, first time Denmark's in the semifinals since they won the Euros back in 1992. So good for the Danish.
Right, I mean, it's really the tournament story is where Eriksson, their teammate, had the heart attack on the field and actually lost life for a moment. And the fact that they were able to bring him back and now he's out of the hospital and doing well. But that has inspired this team. And even though England looks great right now, it's still going to be an interesting match because of that.
Nearly a half hour into this one, San Antonio FC down 1. Gleedle as Epps makes the run. Cuts it towards the byline, puts it back across the face of goal and directed out. Well defended by Austin. Will set up San Antonio FC's first corner of the match.
That's a great run by Epps. That's the kind of action I'm talking about, where that attracts the attention of Diop, who's playing on his side. And now Diop is going to start playing a little bit further back, being more aware, and that's going to take him out of his attacking confidence.
Gives Cam Lindley an opportunity to get involved in the game here. Lindley begins the night tied for 4th in the championship. 22 chances as Doyle heads it. Dillon volleys it back along, and Epps puts it right on frame, but right into the welcoming arms there of Panico.
Well, you know, we think about playmaking as in a classic number 10 and doing something special with the creative pass and opening up the defense. And Lindley doesn't do that. You can do that by speed of play, finding the open man quickly, hitting good service in the box, and that consistency is vital.
Cam Lindley along with Sam Gleedle, Matt Cardona, the only 3 San Antonio FC players that have started in each of the first 11 matches, including tonight. Lindley, the 23-year-old fourth-year player, appearing in his 48th career USL match, and again turned into a nice playmaking role here, now holding more the fort of the vacated PC, who misses a 6th consecutive match here this evening. Remember, he went out in the match against RGV on the 29th of May in the opening quarter hour with a lower body injury. Has not played since, and I don't think it's coincidence, Coach. San Antonio FC doesn't have a win since PC's been out of the lineup.
Yeah, like I said, he's such an important piece. And, you know, the problem is with these injuries, like, for example, with Perusa, is Coach Marcina does not have a great attacking option on the bench. I mean, Cuero is a possibility to come in and play more in an attacking midfielder role. But they don't have these players sitting the bench ready to come in and being a goal down, even though it's too early to talk substitutions. They're going to need answers at some point tonight.
Omar Gordon, edge of the box here, cuts it back here. Duplan able to recover. And Gordon, he was looking for Pino to do something better with that run inside, as that fell harmlessly to Cardona, and San Antonio FC dodges a counter opportunity there from Austin. Meanwhile, Gleedle quickly back up the touchline. Santiago Patino. He You see the two banks of four for Austin's defense. They're so tough to break down in the middle, and that's really been the trademark of their season at this point, is that you cannot beat them through the middle of the park.
No, they squeeze their wing backs in and really crunch that area. I think one of the things you've got to understand is when you have two lines of four, a back four and then a midfield four, is that the spaces in between those four and the channels in between the players in each of those four are easily beaten with the pass. But if you're slow to do that and just try to play in front of them, trying to break them down, then that block of 8 is very tough to get through. But looking at the spaces in between is the way you can get past that, because one pass in between that first row of four, in behind it, suddenly that one pass is beaten for, and one more pass can beat the next four. But you have to see the game that way as players, and if you don't see it, then it's a frustrating night.
One of the things that Austin does have is tremendous experience. We mentioned the number of returnees to Marcelo Serrano's squad, but also a group that has a combined 519 matches worth of Major League Soccer experience. A lot of that between Amobi Akugo and Jermaine Taylor, the two veteran defensemen, but also Kofi Sarkodie, who spent a lot of time in the midfield with Houston Dynamo, 129 matches as well. So they've got a very veteran squad, and a group that you pointed out, Coach, that was brought back even though they didn't find success last year in getting to the postseason. And being together another year, Coach Serrano is hopeful that they've learned to be together, learned to develop those chemistry lines that you need to be successful, especially come October.
Well, I mean, you look at the back four. Okugo is an American, but you've got Garcia from France, you've got Risi from Brazil, you've got Hines from Jamaica. Just that back four alone, they need time to have a meal together and a beer together before they really start to fight for each other. Risi, number 34, the center back, he's a loan from Cruzeiro, which is one of the great Brazilian clubs. That's the club Ronaldo played for. Scolari built the facility, and just a tremendous soccer culture. And when you bring that kind of pedigree in, it may take time to adapt and get to know your teammates and how we're going to play. But when it does, the experience is there to be a successful side.
Akugo, Garcia, and Gustavo Risi, the 23-year-old, over to Nick Hines. Hines, who's on loan from Nashville, along with the keeper Elliot Panico, and a couple of loan assignees as well from San Jose. Remember, they lost their USL Championship affiliate in Reno. As a nice play by Dioff, getting inside the area, setting up the opportunistic Juan Pablo Torres, but with that right foot sends it over goal, just outside the spot. And another opportunity there for Austin here late in the first half.
Great movements by Dioff. And as defenders, you've got 2 against 1. You can't let him through. You can't give up the foul there, but you've got to be able to stand between him and his path and double team.
And it's a poor header there from Risi that'll set up Patino. That's run down. That should be an immediate caution, and it is, as Dioff will go into the books here in the 33rd minute.
Yeah, what you were saying about, the reserve system, they had Reno before. Reno was always right up there winning a championship. And so not having that to draw on, it makes it more challenging to keep the quality of your side up. Well, Dioff is making sure everyone knows he's out there on both sides of the ball.
San Antonio FC set piece opportunity here after a half hour. The one shot on target there from Marcus Epps on one of their earlier corners here. Now it's Lindley again. Low strike this time is driven back out to Cam Lindley. He'll get a chance to reset here. Epps turning back outside of the right. He's run off the ball, however, by Nick Hines. Cheeky little play there by Hines, as Epps was expecting it to go up into the air, and Hines put it along the ground instead. Jose Gallegos comes back with the ball, concedes, and Javi Baez away from Nathan.
One of the reasons why Austin is so hard to score on is they never seem to overextend their wing backs. That back four is arm in arm. They just stay close. They're not looking to attack out the wing backs. where that can get exposed. And it's probably because their wingers are so fast and are breakaway type guys that a guy like Hines, even though he's a good athlete, probably never catches up to him. So I'm just going to stay home, and we're going to have a back four that defends well, and with a guy like Baez sitting in front, that experience, that 5, very hard to break down.
Early numbers here in the first half. Austin with the slight edge in possession, 52-48. Both clubs 6 total shots. Austin one into the back of the net here early in the 2nd minute from Atez Diop, set up by Omar Gordon. 5 of Austin's 6 shots, Coach, coming inside the box, though. So they've had some good looks here in the first half.
Well, and a lot of it is, a lot of their shots have come from the play starting wide, and as the wide player, the winger, a lot of times in Omar's case, or Diop, goes deeper into the box, that line of defense drops in that line. And when that happens, it leaves space in front of them between them and the top of the penalty area freer. And when a ball is played back there, it's very hard for that center back to get out there quickly enough. So it's the midfielders' responsibilities that when that defensive line collapses, for them to track and follow and make sure they can block shots and disrupt the opponent's midfield from getting those free shots.
That'll be off of Epps, and the throw awarded to Austin. Now, as you look around the crowd tonight here, Coach, great to see on this 4th of July weekend Toyota Field back to 100% capacity. It's the first time since opening night of last season, March the 7th, when San Antonio FC knocked off the defending champions, and still the defending champions, we should say, Real Monarchs SLC, because there was no championship trophy awarded to the USL last season. So San Antonio FC welcoming back this large crowd, this boisterous crowd, at a place where they have not been defeated in their last 18 matches at home. 12-0-6 going back to August the 3rd of 2019.
Definitely a great record, and you know the fans want to see that record continue and then enjoy the fireworks tonight. And then in another week, we've got those teams from Mexico coming in to play SAFC, and so there's exciting soccer every week here.
Yeah, this is going to be a busy week next week with the International Showcase. Querétaro FC and Pumas from Liga MX will be here next week on Tuesday and Friday. Make sure you get your tickets at sanantoniofc.com. And then Querétaro and Pumas are going to play each other a week from Monday on July the 12th here at Toyota Field as well.
This is one of the great aspects of having a professional organization like San Antonio FC. They've got the resources and the marketing, and they can bring in teams like this, games like this for the fans to see that they normally might not have the opportunity. So it's going to be a great international tournament.
And the 2 SAFC games against Querétaro and Pumas will also be right here on Bally Sports, both kicking off at 7:30 again on Tuesday night and on Friday night next week. San Antonio, though, has got work to do here as we approach halftime.
We need points tonight, no question.
Gallegos as Nathan switching the play. Deplan over to Marcus Epps. Epps as he runs on Juan Pablo Torres, edge of the box, and trying to clip one in, and Torres gets a piece of it, and it'll be another corner for San Antonio, their 3rd of the match.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good effort by Epps to go one-on-one. But this is where, as a team, when we talk about the final 25, 30 yards, is to get movement off of the ball. So in a case like Epps there, instead of just doing it himself, have a player run and overlap around him, or come over and give him the option of a 1-2 pass. That will draw other defenders and potentially free him up, or they will find a combination that gets past that defender, and now you're in the box with a chance to get your head up and pick out the open man.
Gallegos making the run, and we'll learn another corner. Enter now to be the General Mills bench warmer of the game. Each winner will receive SAFC tickets and on-field access to watch the players warm up. Go to sanantoniofc.com, and under the Fans tab, click Bench Warmer. Headline to enter is October 1st, 2021. That's the General Mills bench warmer of the game. San Antonio FC down 1 as they receive their fourth corner here, and Javi Baez a little slow to get up there. Just to the left of his keeper, Elliot Panico. Baez, coach, you mentioned 11 years in the Mexican leagues, primarily with Chivas. 4 different teams, though, for the 33-year-old. This is his 407th career match.
Yeah, I think it was at Cruz Azul and Necaxa. 154 matches with Chivas, and let's face it, Chivas is the team of the people. Every soccer fan in Mexico, they've got their own local team. Might be Pumas, might be Monterrey or Tigres, but everybody loves Chivas.
Good ball there from Lindley, and Garcia heads that one across the field. It'll be a throw for San Antonio.
I'm sure Chivas feels very good about the nickname they gave themselves many, many decades ago, the Goats, because they have been at times the greatest of all time in Mexico.
San Antonio FC not the only club that's going to play Liga MX sides. Austin Bold FC is going to see Cruz Azul next week as well, too. So all those teams getting set for their Apertura season that's coming up in the late summer and fall, as Cam Lindley will be shown yellow here in the 41st minute. Second yellow of the night against San Antonio, and their 30th caution of the season. It's Diaf who's on the receiving end and is down, face down on the field.
Yeah, that's playing the man, not the ball. Yellow's deserving. Dan, how many players have San Antonio rostered that are from Mexico?
In their history?
Well, we had Guzman.
Yeah.
And I know when I was here, when it was the Scorpions, we had Javier Saavedra, who played 300-plus games for Tigres. He still lives in the community, has his Tigres Academy down the street. Works with about 200 local young kids. And that's always great when you bring a guy to play and he stays and strengthens the whole approach of the soccer community.
I like when you put me on the spot like that, Coach, because I'm not expecting, I got to go back into my memory bank here. But yeah, Cheno Guzman obviously be the first that comes to mind. Here's Juan Pablo Torres, slips it into Pino inside the area where he's dangerous, and directed out by Doyle. It's going to go off of Pino for a goal kick, however.
Don't worry, Dan, I won't do that again.
That's all right. I don't mind it, you know. Test of the memory bank here. I mean, we've run through a lot of players here in over 6 years. Nice delivery. Patino unable to get on the end of it. Fabian Garcia beats him to the ball.
It's a great service, great run. Just slight miss of the connection. But keep creating opportunities like that, and goals will come. You're finding the right guy in that case. Patino's a great finisher. And Dylan recently has shown to be as well.
Cap's unable to run that one down. It's kind of been an ongoing trend the last few matches, though, for San Antonio FC, where they concede early in the first half and are forced to play catch-up, and they usually get one late, particularly very late in the match, where they've been able to equalize. Last week it was Justin Dillon getting the equalizer. That being said, that really has not been their MO here at home. They typically get out on their front foot very early in the match, particularly here at Toyota Field. And sometimes they're on the other end of that, where they concede late and they end up settling into a draw. But it's odd for them to go into the locker room down a goal here at home.
I think typically what we've seen is in the early games at home is the team comes out pressuring the opponent, putting them on their heels, forcing them into errors, and then capitalizing on it and getting the goal right away. I think since then we don't see that starting the game as much as we have in the earlier games. And again, some of that can do with tactical adjustments that the coaches are making, not wanting to open up so early. Some of it can be confidence, and confidence is everything. It doesn't matter whether you're a skilled player or not. If you have confidence, you can win the day.
Austin will keep moving up the field. As you see, Amobi Okugo will take the next throw. Okugo tonight plays in his 60th game as a member of Austin Bold FC. It's the most matches that any member of Austin has played in their 3 seasons in USL play. Greg Cochran with the all-time lead for San Antonio FC, 93 games. Matt Cardoni's now 5 matches behind Cochran for the all-time games record in USL play. Here is Omar Gordon shown yellow late here in this first half. Gordon, the second Austin Bold player to receive yellow, along with Atez Diop here in the 45th minute. 3 minutes of added time coming up at the end of the first half.
You know, this is where the referee, that's why he's got his foam, you know, to put a half circle around the spotting of the ball, and then to march off the 10 yards and give us a line. And then you usually don't have these issues of issuing the yellow card because the players know they have to stand at that distance. And that wasn't done. So I blame the referee a little bit on that one. Or it's me just defending my old player, right?
Well, he's been around long enough. I think he knows the rule.
He knows the rule, yeah.
Panico will release this one here. As both teams get set to head to the locker room, and a big half of adjustments coming up for San Antonio FC, trying to find some ways to break through this Bold defense, which has been amongst the best in the USL here through the first third of the season. Here's Nick Hines over to play the ball. The center midfield line. Pino making the run as he's watched by Deplan. Juan Pablo Torres.
It's definitely not the scenario you want to start the second half with, is being down a goal to a team who keeps their back four back and never out of position. So they're very hard to catch them out of position. And also knowing that as San Antonio needs a goal, they will start to commit more and more players forward in the attack, and that just opens the door for Austin's counterattack with the pace and speed they have up front and in the wings. So, you know, they're going to have to be patient and smart, come out aggressive and all that, but you must make sure that you're always prepared to stop the counterattack. I call it counter-proofing your system. Always leaving enough back that we're not going to get caught in the counter.
Gleedle, as he looks for an opening. Heavy touch there. It allows Baez to come up and make the tackle for the ball. Diop, back to Javi Baez. Ugo Akoli. A bit of a different role for him in this crew. It doesn't play as direct as some of the teams he's been on, like Cincinnati, or even last year in Orange County, where Ugo Akoli had 7 goals in the abbreviated season. He kind of waits for the opportunities, as does this entire Austin crew, when it comes to like this, corners and set pieces or the counterattacks for him to make his impact. Still 3 goals here in the first 9 matches, although maybe doesn't have necessarily the dynamics that we've seen from him in previous seasons.
Yeah, and I think you'd have to go back, and I don't have the history with him to know the answer to this, but are these other clubs playing him as the sole striker, which would keep his runs very much between the 2 pipes? Or are they playing with 2 strikers, and therefore he finds himself, like he just did, making a run to the outside and finding himself in a flank position rather than a scoring position? And that can change the number of results you have in the scoring column.
And that will end the first 45 minutes. Austin gets on the board in the opening minutes. Atez Diop in the second minute scoring his first goal of the season, and the visitors with a 1-0 lead to kick off this 4th of July weekend here at Toyota Field in the first installment of the Central Texas Derby. It's Austin 1, San Antonio FC 0. Halftime on the other side, coming up here on Bally Sports. see. Okay. Well, now I can hear out of 2 ears, so that's good.
Yeah,
Your good-looking headset only is coming out of 1 ear. So,
it's coming out of just one ear.
yeah, it wasn't coming out of the right ear.
Oh, it's probably in the truck. Just let Scotty know he has to fuck with the patch cable.
Yeah, it was working to start, and then it.
Dan, get on the normal one. Yeah, you can figure it out.
Yeah, get on your regular one and then
About 30 seconds.
for 30 seconds to get this off.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think it works now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just. Okay. Overrated, underrated?
It's working now.
It's in the
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You look at the patch panel and things just go bad.
Halftime here on Bally Sports from Toyota Field. San Antonio FC down 1-0 to Austin Bold FC. Atez Diop scoring the lone goal in the 2nd minute. Time now for another installment of Overrated, Underrated with San Antonio FC.
Sushi?
Underrated.
Sushi's underrated. So good.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Yeah, I think I like it a lot, and the taste is amazing. So
See, I don't see like if you were to say California roll, I say overrated, but I like a little bit of spicy crab. You know, like a little spice to it. Underrated. I'm a big Six Flags guy.
overrated.
Overrated.
Six Flags Great Adventure, New Jersey.
Nah, a lot of people, a lot of lines. Overrated. You know, I'd rather do something else with my time.
Possible burgers.
Overrated.
I hadn't had it, but
You gotta get the real meat. Come on.
it's probably underrated.
Underrated.
Oof, that's my go-to.
Even though it's not the best, but still underrated.
Underrated. Big sock sleeper over here.
Overrated.
I've been criticized, so.
Don't do that, please. Underrated. Went to one yesterday for Easter with my boys.
Oh, it's good. We just had it yesterday.
Underrated. Just went yesterday. Really good.
That's good. It's good.
It's underrated. I think it's good.
Makes the game fair.
Overrated. I don't like having to go back to review and just spend like 5 minutes doing nothing.
That's what I'm saying. I know. I actually hate VAR. I'm just gonna. Nah, I hate it. Overrated. I think it takes the emotion out of the game, and I don't like it. That's all I needed.
Probably a lot of people side with you, Justin, as well on VAR. San Antonio FC down 1 to Austin Bold. We'll take a look at highlights and numbers from the first 45 minutes on the other side. Visitors came in and they took a lot of the juice out of the building here in the opening minutes of this one.
They did. You know, they're very, very organized defensively, and they got off to such a quick start with this goal.
Atez Diop, after scoring 4 times a year ago, gets his first of the season. A beautiful setup by Omar Gordon. That just came 2 minutes into the match. For San Antonio FC, it's kind of been a story of stories the last few weeks. Opportunities, but missed opportunities.
Yeah, there's no question we're creating good opportunities, but not putting them on target, not finding the corners, not finding the right angles, just not giving us the goals that we need.
That might have been their best chance. The volley along to Marcus Sepps, but putting it right into Panico's hands. Here are the numbers from the first half. It's been an even game for San Antonio FC. I mean, they'll like the fact their possession's at 50%. They'll like the fact they've got 8 shots. But again, a little bit flat-footed out of the gate in this one tonight, and in a position where they don't find themselves very often, and that's down a goal at halftime here at home.
Yeah, and I think you have to look at the shots on target. 2 out of 8 isn't a good enough average. You need to be closer to 50%. And Austin doesn't make it easy. They never overcommit their defense players forward, and they close up on you. So if you don't have wide players in position to play to, it's going to be difficult to break them down.
What does San Antonio FC need to do in the second half here?
They have to be careful because they're going to start pushing players forward. The defensive organization of Austin is always in good shape to defend. But as the game goes on, San Antonio is going to commit more and more into the attack, take more risk. And the counterattack of Austin can be so dangerous, so quick to strike, that they could find themselves 2 goals down if they don't, what I call counterproof, which leaves 3 defenders with 1 defensive midfielder, always in a position, even if you're attacking well, always in a position to defend.
All right, we'll take a look around the rest of Week 11 in the USL's Mountain Division. Some news and notes as well. Our halftime rolls on here on Bally Sports. Our halftime continues. San Antonio down 1 to Austin Bold FC. Take a look around the rest of the Mountain Division here in week number 11. And the action got started Wednesday when El Paso Locomotive was dealt their first loss of the season by RGV 3-2. Real Monarchs knocking off New Mexico United as well on Wednesday 3-2. Big matchup coming up in just a couple of minutes. New Mexico and El Paso, and a rivalry that's always been fun to watch. And tomorrow the action concludes Real Monarchs SLC hosting Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Second half coming up on the other side. San Antonio and Austin here on Bally Sports. San Antonio FC Soccer on Bally Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Go to buyatoyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. 1-0 at the half. Austin with the lead over San Antonio. Let's check in with the third member of our broadcast crew down on the field, Hayden Partain.
The boys in the first half were unable to maybe find some consistency in the run of play, but I think in the second half, being really execute. Sorry about that. Execute on the set pieces that we get, and that can maybe create chances and in transition maybe create goal opportunities against the run of play.
Thanks, Hayden. I mean, I agree. I think that's, again, when you talk about the two lines of four that Austin throws at you from the midfield down to their back line, I mean, you basically either get goals off of set pieces like corner kicks, or you get them in counterattack opportunities when your opponent makes a mistake. But otherwise it's going to be difficult for San Antonio FC to try to create, especially up the middle of the park tonight.
Yeah, I think the switch of play that comes in is very important. It's very hard to get your wing backs forward because their wingers can counter so quickly. And if they're clogging the middle, the ability to switch the play, I'm not saying around the back, that takes so long that they can walk across into the defender, but through the midfield, quick switch, and then commit into getting the penetration from the wing.
And getting a few more guys forward here, it already looks like, to start the second half. As you see, Duplan is well up here along the right side, and SAFC starting more like three in the back here in the second half. Gallegos giving it a go over frame here, but you like the aggressiveness from San Antonio FC, kind of throwing a little bit of the kitchen sink out you here to start the second half.
That's the way we know that they can start games, and they did not tonight. They haven't in their last few games, but we've seen them start this way before, and usually that leads to turnovers and more opportunities. Again, it comes down to the quality of your shot. In a case like Gallegos is there, sending it so high over the bar, you just got to get better quality, better control. Sometimes you don't have to hit it quite as hard, just making sure you're putting it on frame. You can get a deflection, you can get a knockdown, any other type of opportunities to get a goal.
San Antonio FC has 5 goals this season in the second half, 4 of which have come in the final quarter hour of the match. They do not have a goal in their first 10 matches in this quarter-hour stretch coming out of the locker room. In fact, they've been outscored 4-0 by the opposition in these first 15 minutes. But again, the last few weeks, this has been San Antonio FC's challenges. They've been down 1-0 at the half and trying to come out and reset themselves and be more aggressive to start the second half.
Yeah, the pattern has been that they come out aggressively in the first half, in the opening minutes. And then at halftime, they aren't able to quite reproduce that. But here, it's like the opposite. They've started slow, gave up a goal, and now they're coming out of the halftime with new information and vigor and aggressiveness to take this game back over.
And what a vital, vital game it is. We showed you the standings at the top of the telecast. Both teams below the playoff line, 12 points, but it's so congested in the Mountain Division against the top 4 in the division make the postseason. And a giveaway by Austin here as Patino makes the run. Reese stride for stride with him. Patino loses his footing. Reese gets it back forward. Alan Marcina thought there was contact there and wanted a call against Reese against his striker. And a throw coming up for Austin here as this rides out off of Duplan.
Yeah, I think typically you'd give a foul against Patino there to allow San Antonio the free kick. Just unlucky the way the referee saw it.
This match tonight is the 4th in a stretch of 10 in a row that San Antonio FC is going to play, all against Mountain Division clubs. And a lot of those are going to come up on the road here over the course of the next few weeks as they're going to go out and play Colorado Springs after the bye week next Saturday, not playing a USL match. And then they'll go out and play El Paso for the first time. Haven't seen them yet this year, too. So critical games on the schedule, which makes this one all the more important tonight.
Yeah, and we've always said win your series against a particular club. And this is the first of 4 games against Austin. So getting off to that winning start tonight is is very important.
Here are the standings in the Mountain Division table right now. Again, San Antonio FC and Austin Bold, both 2 points back in New Mexico United. And the problem for San Antonio is you see El Paso, Colorado Springs, and Austin, they all have games in hand against San Antonio FC. Rio Grande Valley's played most games in the division, but they also have the luxury of being at the top of the table with 20 points as well. And to me, it's all the other teams in the division right now, they've all got something going. Even Real Monarchs SLC comes up with a big win over New Mexico this week on a Wednesday. Now they're kind of crawling up on San Antonio FC. Colorado Springs has been playing much better soccer over the last month of the season.
Yeah, I think they're the surprise, because when we saw them in the beginning of the season, they did not look like they were ready to win games, and they have really turned themselves around. So something for us to be concerned with, especially having to go to Colorado and play in the altitude.
And a place San Antonio FC has never won in Colorado Springs.
Right.
Did earn themselves a 1-1 draw in their lone visit to Widener Field back on June the 6th. Dioff.
So quick on the turn.
Switching the play. Omar Gordon flanked out over there on that right side. Running on Sam Gleadle. Strikes one into the box there, and will be taken off the pitch by Matt Cardoni. Yeah, going back to Colorado Springs, Haji Berry right now off to the lead in the Golden Boot race. 10 goals already in the first 9 games of the season for Haji Berry.
Yeah, he's really come on strong. And you know, so much is put on the pressure of the striker, the goal scorer. But it takes the players around him to create the chances for him. And it can't be done alone. And so that's a compliment to Barry for putting the ball in the back of the net, but it's also saying Colorado as a whole is playing very well.
Epps went down just outside the box. Alston on the counter over Varela, and we'll go Okoli with some space here to do his magic. Okoli to the back post. Oh, put a little bend on that one, and it just went over the bar.
But, you know, when you talk about, as I said, goal scorers, they're dependent upon the players around them. When I look at our squad tonight, is Dylan and Pena have had practically no service, maybe no service at all, that puts them in a scoring position. And so I look at the rest of the teammates, the midfielders, who are the ones who have to make those passes or those crosses or services, and we're just not doing a good enough job with it. I mean, our strikers are starving for chances, and we've got to do a better job with the penetrating pass. You know, you look at the playing out here, and Epps moves inside. All right, so work together as a partnership and get some pass and overlapping and break this side down and get deeper in the field to hit a good cross into your attacking players. Because you look, and when they were scoring goals,
Deplan, the cross, and it ends up right to Panico.
But that's more like it. You know, when we were scoring goals early in the senior, when Pena was getting his stuff, it had to do with much better service near them where they could get the rebound, get the knockdown, or just take it out of the air and finish it.
Coutinho commits the foul there. Javi Baez shown yellow in the 52nd minute, the third Bold player to be shown yellow in this match. Natez Dioff and Omar Gordon also sitting on a yellow here in the second half. Cam Lindley and Liam Doyle sitting on yellows for San Antonio FC as we reset the discipline here early in the second half. Austin with the only goal coming 2 minutes into the match. Natez Dioff kind of taking again the juice out of this building, which is at full capacity for the first time in 16 months. And Austin Bold FC trying to do something that no USL team has done in their last 18 visits to Toyota Field, and that's walk away with all 3 points. San Antonio is just looking for the equalizer. A 6th draw in their last 7 matches isn't necessarily ideal, but right now, that would be an ideal situation against the alternative. Okoli into the box, volleyed a long one. Pablo Torres! And Cardoni knocks that one away. It'll concede the corner.
Great volley by Torres to keep that ball down. Takes a lot of physical discipline with your follow-through, with your right-footed player, keeping the left shoulder down to make sure your chest doesn't come up or you end up volleying it over the bar. Just real good technique there.
That's the second shot officially on target for Austin Bold. San Antonio FC, 2 shots on target to their credit as well in this match. Torres over to the near stick, right-footed in swinger will deliver this corner here. And this one is off of Bold, and Matt Cardone awarded a free kick as you see Okoli on the ground there at the top of the 6-yard box. He's an imposing force at 6'1", 185 pounds. 28-year-old who's spent some time in Major League Soccer, but again, he was the USL Championship Most Valuable Player with FC Cincinnati back in 2016. 32 career goals in 109 matches. 16 goals in that MVP season with Cincinnati for Okoli.
That's a good year. And Cincinnati needed it. You know, they've had their struggles as a expansion team in the first few years.
Well, yeah, that was when they were dominant in the USL, though. 16 and 17. Of course, 17 was their big-time season where they didn't complete the magical year in the playoffs, but what a run they had in the regular season. And that really kind of led to the boost that got them to Major League Soccer because of all the great crowds that they had.
That's right. That's right. I remember it now. See, my memory doesn't pick up all these things as quickly as it needs to. Yeah, there's so many clubs like that. Cincinnati did well, Nashville, great USL years, Louisville, even though they're not Major League, they should be.
Orlando City, of course, was started in USL.
Right.
Sacramento, of course, coming up, will get their opportunity in Major League Soccer. It was great watching earlier today the brand new Columbus Crew Stadium being unveiled this afternoon in a match against New England. It was a good service opportunity there for Dylan, but again, double team coming over with Fabian Garcia and Gustavo Risi closing. They're able to work the ball away. It's a giveaway by Dioff, though, at center. Dylan keeping it alive on the touchline.
You're talking about who's going to be the first team that can have victory against San Antonio in their park. When the Columbus Crew first opened their original stadium, which was the first soccer-specific stadium in the United States, is they had a winning streak going through the first third of the season. And I was coaching Tampa in Major League, and we were the first team to beat them there. And every time we played there afterwards, we had just this special confidence that we know we can win there. And we usually did. And so these kind of results can be dangerous because you don't want Austin to ever have that mental edge that they can overcome you in this park. So the comeback tonight is really key.
Gallegos into the box. Oh, what a chance again for Dylan. And again, turned it wide of goal. The first opportunity turned wide of the header. This one, more mustard on it coming from Jose Gallegos outside, but landed right to Dylan, and he had a glorious chance.
See, and that's the Gallegos that he needs to continue to be, because he's the one that beats a player, draws players, finds our open guy, which he did right there. Perfect example. Now Wright has come in the game.
I'll take out Nathan here in the 58th minute. It was interesting tonight. We normally don't see Nathan in a wide position. He started that tonight in the 4-4-2, but didn't have the opportunities that maybe we're used to seeing him get in previous games, especially here at home.
Right, and part of that problem is the speed in the wing midfields for Austin means a guy like Nathan, who doesn't want to get exposed, finds himself sitting back a little bit more, not taking as much risk going forward. And yet, the freedom of attacking is knowing how to cover your teammate when he's out of position, and where he needs to recover to find that shape to be a good defensive team. And if he doesn't know how to do that, then instead of committing forward where he can use his attacking skills, he tends to just kind of stay and make sure he doesn't get exposed. So that's something maybe they need to address and work on.
Well, Ollie Wright, his 9th appearance of the season, coming on early here in the 58th minute. And clearly, him and Justin Dillon have found a connection as they're responsible for the last 2 goals for San Antonio FC. against RGV here 2 weeks ago, and then the equalizer in the 77th minute, almost the exact same play to level the game against Real Monarchs SLC.
When I saw that second goal that those two hooked up and got, I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, this has got to be the goal from the other night. It was uncanny how...
As Gordon gets one through, and Cardoni came up to get it. Cardoni might have gotten perhaps the end of the boot there of Okoli, who was going after the ball. Cardoni down on the field, and I think Okoli might get shown yellow here. Or did he get shown red? He got shown red.
Yeah.
Wow. Ugo Okoli shown red in the 60th minute.
It looked like it was cleats up and straight leg, which would be a red card. And give all the bravery to Cardona. He never let go of the ball. He just hugged that thing to make sure that no one was going to get a poke at it.
So Ugo Okoli sent off for a red card here at the 1 hour mark of the match.
This certainly changes the game for in favor of San Antonio to get back in this.
Now take a look at it again. Okoli visibly frustrated. Looked like his right foot went past Cardona, almost like got him more with the knee, if anything. Right there.
Yeah.
Gets him with the left knee up to his face.
Yeah. And, you know, that's a 50-50 ball he's going in for. So when I look at it now from that angle, you know, maybe a yellow as a warning.
I think he's got maybe more of a viable case. Yeah, cleats up, absolutely. If he gets him with the cleats, for sure.
Yeah.
Gets him kind of with the knee going after that ball, obviously, trying to get on the end of it.
Right.
That's a little bit more debatable, and he was visibly upset, had to be restrained by his own teammates as he gets sent off.
It looked like there was no intent by Okoli to go in physically to the keeper. He was sliding in for a 50-50, hoping he'd get there first.
Neither way, a break for San Antonio FC as Austin a man down here for the final half hour of this one.
Yeah. Now, Dan, you look at it, and because Austin plays with two lines of four and two strikers, now they only have one striker, which is Pino, which is one of the most dangerous guys on the park. But that two line of four, that doesn't change.
Right.
So that block still is solid as a rock, and they just have to defend well. And then when you play to Pino, is having a couple of players break off of that and counter off of that. But don't change the integrity of the block of 8.
You don't want to lose a guy as talented as Okoli is at this point of the game. That being said, you've done your job. If you're Austin, that's get the goal. You're up. So if anything, Okoli coming off, to your point, doesn't change very much, at least their game plan defensively, because they don't lose a backline guy.
Right. No, it doesn't change anything defensively.
I mean, if anything, San Antonio FC should hopefully carry the possession here in the remainder of the second half. And hopefully we'll see what happens for San Antonio as they can try to level this thing up. As we check in once again downstairs with Hayden Partain. Hayden.
Yeah, to add to Coach's point, it looks like that they put Omar Gordon actually up top now and moved Pino to the left side of that midfield 4 block. Looks like there's going to be a change here, so we'll see their arrangements here again.
Yeah, Emilio Icaza, midfielder, will come on here for Juan Pablo Torres in the 63rd minute, first substitute, and Icaza can play the holding midfield, but also with a little bit of aggressiveness as well too, as he comes on for his 9th appearance, second-year player. Played collegiately at the University of South Florida last year, also playing with Reno.
I think this was a smart move for Austin, switching Pino and Omar, because Omar is defensively not a strong player positionally, but he is a breakaway guy and has tremendous pace, and so keep the threat high and strengthen your midfield, because maybe Pino has a little bit more experience in knowing what he's got to do from a defensive standpoint.
The one thing, though, Austin does have to be wary of is that if they do get opportunities like that, or breakdown in the middle of the park that allows them to get forward, they got to be quick to get back should they give up possession.
Well, you know, I don't want to bore you with the story, but when I was coaching Colorado, we had a game against New York, in New York, after the World Cup. And so Landon's coming home. Pablo Mastriani for us is coming home. Clint Mathis is coming home. And Pablo said to me, Coach, give me the game off. I'm tired. And I said, I can't. Let's get our 3 points and we'll get you out as quickly as we can. His first tackle, red card. So now we're in New York and we're in the exact same situation. We play 4 in front of 4, but instead of a fast striker, I take our playmaker and put him up top as the sole player so he doesn't have to defend. And we got the message to our guys. Every time we play Carlos Valderrama's feet, 2 players break. That's it. Everyone stay in shape. And we got to the 85th minute, and Carlos put a player named Chris Carrieri through, and we win the game 1-0. But long times to survive, but this system can work. That block of 8 is very difficult to break down if they do their job.
Lindley, can he find a seam here as he creeps forward? Out wide, Gleedle in an offside position there.
Of course, as Pablo was leaving the field, he kind of gave me that nod. I told you I needed the night off. You know?
Just didn't expect him to do it that fast.
Right, and in the locker room when we had won the game, I looked at him and said, well, we didn't need you anyway.
Well, that's true, apparently so. Emil Cuello is going to come on here for Joaquin Varela in the 65th minute. And against San Antonio FC, without Jordan Peruzza tonight, who's out with injury, Emil Cuello is one of those guys who can give you something offensively, and so San Antonio FC takes out a defender, and again, the tactics changing a little bit because you don't really expect Austin to provide much of a threat playing with 10 men and their primary number 9 striker out of the game right now.
Right. And even though Cuello has moved into kind of the fourth back, the left back position, he will push up that left side into an attacking position, and they'll sit with 3 at the back until it's time to defend again. And there goes Cuello now.
Move Gleedle off here to the right side now as Cuello kind of taking his spot there over along with Ollie Wright. Gallegos. I mean, you don't mind Gallegos shooting the ball, Coach, but you'd like to see him get a little bit closer than 35 yards out.
Yeah, and again, at this point, your 2 goal scorers are sitting up there and have had almost no action. So the job of Gallegos, of Cuello, players like this, has got to be to feed them. The only other player that I'd say really needs to commit into a scoring position is Epps at this point. He can push up higher with the 2 strikers and look to attack from the flank.
Now throw here for San Antonio. Again, final half hour playing a man up over Austin as Ugo Okoli shown red for a dangerous play against Matt Cardoni in the 60th minute. And a break that hopefully San Antonio can use to their advantage to level this match at 1.
Well, and that's the other thing with the tactics for this, is that really Austin, they can just sit, just stay compact in a block, and when you get the ball, do all your time buying, put the ball back in play slowly, throw in slowly, play possession as much as you can. I mean, playing a man down isn't going to stop your possession if you've got a team with good feet. But you can also see right now as we have committed.
Right through, oh, what a chance. Dillon has had 3 cracks at it tonight to level this game, and that one at least gets on target here, and Panico's there to make the save.
Yeah, I mean, when we were attacking just then, I was looking at our backs, and we only had 2 people back, and that's the thing you have to be concerned about, is losing possession in their half, and then the counterattack comes, and you can't get guys back in time, and therefore you end up giving up a second goal. But it was a good build-up, and that's what we've been talking about. Feed the strikers, give them their cracks at it.
Epps, great service there from the right side. We've seen him do that so well this season. Dillon, who's had 3 glorious chances tonight, still looking for that first. Gallegos back on the ball, then he's run off. Alan Marcina, infuriated, wanted a foul. Epps. Cuello. Ollie Wright. And now Cam Lindley. Looking back in Cuello's direction. Cuello Nice job to keep it alive, but hands right out, and Austin clearing it out of the area. Gallegos met as soon as he touches the ball. Fabian Garcia taking it off his feet. Here's Austin, counter opportunity. Gordon. Garcia filling the middle. Gordon. He's looking for that La Gloria Margarita, apparently, upstairs.
Yeah, I think that ball ended up back in Montego Bay. Garcia made an outstanding stand-up tackle, and that was just solid stuff. He's the player who came from Cruzeiro, such a famous club. I mean, when you're a young player growing up, and you're living every day at a club like that with that professionalism and those kind of world stars around you to learn from, you're gonna develop into a great player.
It's off of Omar Gordon. San Antonio word of the ball here. Another sub for Austin. He's Josue Soto, one of the returning players who will come on. It'll be Vatez Diop for the rest of the night off. Soto, formerly a defender here, so taking out an attacking wing midfielder for a wing fullback necessarily is what this tactic is. Josue Soto, who's on loan, by the way, from Querétaro of Liga MX, and so his old buddies will be in town on Tuesday night. And a foul. And a yellow. And Patino, for the 6th time this season, has shown caution.
Yeah, he may have gotten a caution, but he's showing composure. You know, I'm looking at the expression on his face. There's calm and evaluation. Probably thinking through his head, I can't make another mistake like that.
Well, he's 6 cautions now in the season. He's 2 away from would be another 1-match suspension for card accumulation. 8 is the number. Patino now tied for the most yellows of any individual player in the USL Championship this season.
Is there a trophy for that?
I don't believe so. No, at least not one you want.
Now they have the opposite of that. I mean, typically they have an award for a club, sometimes a coach, sometimes a player, called the Fair Play Award, put out by FIFA for the fewest number of yellow cards. Why shouldn't they have one for the most?
I'm sure there are a lot of coaches and managers who would say that's probably not one we want to advocate for.
No.
Gleedle. San Antonio FC, which has been shut out just one time this season. That was down in the Valley, as Gleedle run off there and conceding the corner. It was Nick Hines. San Antonio FC getting their 6th corner of the match. Lindley goes over to the ball. And again, this is kind of the area of the match where San Antonio FC has been dangerous as we come upon that last quarter hour, especially in this situation, down 1. Do they have another one in them tonight? Lindley to the back post. Cuello outside the area, concedes. Gordon, this is where he's dangerous. 1 against 3 in the run of play. Gordon just runs and runs and runs, and Gleedle's got to drive him off the ball there.
His teammates couldn't catch up to help him.
But man, he runs with the best of them in the USL.
There is no question. Watch out, Usain Bolt. He's a sprinter.
He still can move. 29 years of age. And puts Austin in a position here in the attacking final third where at the very least they can kill some clock and maybe kill some possession with the ball. They've been playing with 10 men for the last quarter hour. San Antonio since has had the one chance for Dillon. Was a pretty good opportunity, but couldn't drive it past Panico. Gallegos whistled for the foul.
haven't seen anything out of Wright since he entered the game. He's impacted the last 2 games he's come in. I'd like to find a way to get him the ball and see what he can do.
Gustavo Ricci. Pino brought down. Epps.
Here we go.
Ollie Wright. Head up.
There's that diagonal run from Dillon.
He'll get to the ball, corner of the box. Dillon. Akugo back defensively to cover. Dillon into the middle looking for Patino, knocked away from him. Cuello keeps it moving. Gallegos' bid blocked. Epps settles. Volleys it over to Gleedle. Up top, Lindley. Turns to Cuello. Chips it into the box. Ricci heads it out. Oh, volleyed out poorly, but out of the area nonetheless. Josue Soto. Gleedle. And Austin able to release that one forward. DePlon stepping forward, knocks it away from Pino. Playing the advantage is Cuello to Ollie Wright. Lindley. Cuello into the area, cleared.
They've got to get out to these players. I mean, San Antonio's getting a lot of time to take a look and to approach the box. And Austin, instead of sending a player out to get some pressure on that ball, so it's not such a visible service, is they've just kind of started to play on their heels a bit, which can certainly work to the advantage of San Antonio.
Well, here's San Antonio FC's opportunities tonight, and they've all come from Justin Dillon, starting in the first half here with this header off the service from Epps turned wide. And the opportunity for San Antonio to get the go-ahead goal. And then here in the second half, 2 cracks for Dillon. This one goes wide of goal. And then the second one just moments ago, another great service from Marcus Epps across the face of goal, lands right to Dillon. He puts it right on frame. Justin Dillon unable to find the equalizer. Meanwhile, Leo Torres has come on for only the second time this season. Trying to give San Antonio FC some life as Lindley puts it over frame. Torres hasn't played since opening night. It's only his 4th appearance with SAFC, the 17-year-old. As we take a look at Justin Dillon's return to the club, 3 goals in his 5 matches after missing the first 5 matches of the season with a lower body injury. And there is a look at Leo Torres, the youngest player ever to sign in San Antonio FC history as a 15-year-old, coming through the academy system and last year signing a first-team contract, getting into his first USL Championship game, and now getting into a game that is, let's say it's a must-win game for SAFC, but the circumstances are dire enough that Leo Torres is getting a look here in the last quarter hour to see, can he provide something to this attack?
Young players like this getting an opportunity, to trust them with this opportunity with so much on the line. You know, a guy like Torres brings in energy and he brings in ambition. Let's hope that pays off.
It's off of Epps and a throw for San Antonio FC.
San Antonio stepping very high, trying to win the ball back in their half near their goal.
San Antonio FC, 54% possession. This will unquestionably be their best possession game of the season. But possession tonight will be meaningless if they can't find the equalizer here.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be about analytics tonight. This is about finding that goal. And tactically for Austin, it's about staying compact and organized.
Pino settles. Slips through Gleedle, and now brought down, and a foul. And that's going to be DePlon. Yellow to DePlon. Coming in the 79th minute.
I really don't appreciate when a referee throws the card in your face like that. Does it with such a forceful statement, a service. And just get the attention of the player, have eye contact, give him his yellow, but don't make things worse. Don't aggravate the situation as a referee. Your job is to calm things and keep players on the park.
about, Coach. I mean, the referee obviously was not necessarily pleased that the Plan kept walking away from him.
True, but have a talking with him. I think it creates a worse situation when you use the gesture of a firmly presented card, and it really doesn't, to me, solve the situation. I think a few words once the player turns, and even get close to the player and just say that's not going to be the way things are here.
Torres tried to slip that one through, and then a foul going back the other way as Dillon catches his attacker.
And we're starting to run out of time.
Well, that's again where San Antonio FC gets to the point of they've got to just find different avenues. And to be fair, they're working outside, and they've done a lot of good things here since going up a man. Trying to work those channels on the wings, trying to slip balls into the box. I mean, they've had some looks. And against some other teams, that might be a little more successful as Gordon runs this ball down inside the area. Gordon, as he puts it off a defender, and then a heavy tackle collision there as the Plan could have been a lot worse there, coming up by Soto, and Soto now will be whistled for the foul.
Well, we've already talked about how Austin needs to play this tactically, about killing the clock, keep your block of 8, work on your possession so that you're not defending all the time. But when you get to the final 10 minutes, and there'll be a few extra minutes after that in extra time, if you're down a goal and you're up a man, your job is to go high pressure on every single player, every single pass. And it's gut-wrenching. It is very hard at this point in the game to find that within yourself, but you have to do it to force the turnover and win the ball back. And if you're sitting back trying to defend, there's just too much time gets eaten up, and San Antonio has to be a high-pressure team and a relentless pressuring team.
Lindley, Cuello. Just look at Austin, though. They set up right at that 18-yard line, and they're giving San Antonio everything outside of 18 yards that they want.
Right.
Right into the box there. Patino can't make the turn.
And that's great defending by the midfielder. So the front four in front of the back four are defending back. Every time a ball goes past them, they're turning and defending behind them to close that space, as we just saw. Sometimes midfielders won't turn and chase back, but it was very well done by the Austin midfielder.
Soto. He's got a burst again. He's come on as a second half substitute, and now a dangerous play. Soto, he'll be shown yellow. And he's got to be careful. He's running away from the referee, Matt Franz, as well.
These are the professional fouls. You feel the momentum has been over the last 10 minutes with San Antonio, and your job is to disrupt that. And disrupting it either means win the ball and keep it and don't let them have the back, which they've not been able to do. Or you start playing physically and give up fouls in the middle third of the field. And now San Antonio, instead of thinking about their momentum, they're thinking about the argument with the referee and the fouls involved. So these are the gamesmanship that go on in the final 10 minutes, trying to secure your points.
Austin will be content doing just that for the final 7 minutes of this match. But you have to give a lot of credit to this back-end group of Austin. Man, they have done their job here tonight.
Yeah, they are a very together back four.
Cuello, back post. Torres was trying to get into the middle of it, knocked out by the defense.
And that's a perfect clearing defense, is to flick it out the other side and take the danger away. If you head it back towards the top of the 18, that's where players like Gallegos are waiting to hit those shots back in.
Leo Torres, that shot was blocked and then headed out again by Austin.
So their defense is not just being organized, but they're doing a lot of things right, make it very difficult to break them down and get a break to go your way.
Ollie Wright puts one in. But I like San Antonio FC, what they've done here, though, the last couple of possessions. They're putting balls into the box. I mean, they're not waiting for that perfect channel to open up. They're not waiting for that perfect line or that perfect run. They're just trying to get balls into the box and basically throwing whatever junk they've got here in this last 10 minutes at the keeper.
Yeah, we used to have an expression, SOS, which is an emergency call. But the SOS stands for shoot or serve. And in that case, that's what they're doing. They're serving the ball as quickly as they can, as often as they can, and getting the shots off.
As we come down the closing minutes of the match, Lindley looking in Dylan's direction. Patino settles. Good turn. Patino with a great shot and a good save from Panico.
You can see the quality of his skill, that quick turn, the quick release. This is what separates so many strikers. Is there are some strikers who eventually get the shot off, but they're slow to get it off. And when you're slow to get it off, you're going to lose your opportunities many, many times. But Pino, that quick turn and release, outstanding.
Pino able to run down that ball. Another substitute for Austin, and this will be one of the veterans we mentioned back in the first half. Kofi Sarkodie, the midfielder, defensive midfielder coming on, will take out Pino. Frankly, really no need for Pino's runs in these last 5 minutes. He'll come out, and Kofi Sarkodie, a native of Hoover Heights and University of Akron, national champion, will come on. Here again was the red card back at the exact 1 hour mark when Ugo Okoli went in, left knee up colliding with Matt Cardone, shown red. And that has had Austin playing with 10 men since. Marcus Epps cutting wide, keeps it in play. Panico, Johnny on the spot.
He's played well tonight. But he's never really been tested either. I mean, all of the shots that have come in have been either directly to him or out of the goal range.
Austin has sent one player across the midfield line, and that's Omar Gordon. The remaining 9 all back behind the ball.
Well, and as long as they leave Gordon up there because of his breakaway speed, that's going to keep those center backs a little bit in check, knowing that threat is still there.
Leo Torres. Marcus Epps to the outside. Another great cross in. Ollie Wright got a piece of it, but directed it wide. I mean, Marcus Epps will do that all night. And you know what? He's had some success getting those balls through.
Yeah, he has. You don't think he's got an angle, and then he finds a seam to slip it through. And those are the things from games like tonight you look at and you say, what is working for us? And clearly, getting the ball on the switcher play to Epps where he has some space to run and running a partner towards him so he's got some options to play with is something that should be a consistency in the attack of our game. We need to see it more and more often.
What's on the line tonight for San Antonio FC? Well, not only 3 points in a rivalry battle against Austin, but also their 18-match unbeaten streak. They have not been defeated here at home since August 3rd of 2019. Liam Doyle.
You can see Doyle getting in the box. Lots of numbers there. Just got to get the service off.
And well played there by both Immobia Kugo and Sarkodie over on the far side.
It's one of the things that young players have to learn is that how much is too much? What are my limitations? Is this a situation that I can risk taking a player on and maybe lose the ball rather than getting the serve in? My center back, Doyle, has made a 50-yard run to be in the box. He deserves the chance to have a go at it. So your responsibility is to get the service off, and you don't need to do anything more than that. You've done your job at that point.
It looks like San Antonio FC is going to need some extra time magic, and well, frankly, they can pull from all the goals that have been scored in Euro 2020 in extra time so far these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a tournament of extra time and penalties, it seems like.
SAFC does not have a goal in extra time this season. Cuello too hard with the delivery in as Panico brings it down. Panico trying to seal the deal on his 5th clean sheet of the season, which would tie him for the league lead. Gordon as he goes down hard, and
I'm sure he took a knock to the head, but this is also tick, 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 you know, the clock running, and no one's in a rush on Austin to get the game going again.
Yeah, and that'll certainly add on to whatever we get in extra time here. And for Austin and for San Antonio, I mean, San Antonio's been working hard here these last 15, 20 minutes or so. It's a chance for everyone to recoup, reset, catch their breath.
All right, for one last push.
Doesn't look like anybody else is coming in. These are going to be the players that finish the match. Panico was hovering around that 18-yard line as he got rid of the ball to get it forward. And yellow has been shown to the San Antonio FC bench.
Just keep your calm, composure. San Antonio has nothing to complain about. They came out a little bit asleep and probably watching in bed too many Euro games today. And they're playing up a man for, what, more than 30 minutes at this point. It's just what you do with it. And the referee's not going to bail you out.
Cuello into the box, headed out. Be 5 minutes of added time here. And Sarkodie turns that one out. And already a minute into that 5. Playing with 4 or so left. We'll get to the point as Omar Gordon rejoins the action. You might as well just get Matt Cardone across the midfield line as well, too. San Antonio FC nearing the death. Lindley. Reese gets up to head that one. Soto, again, a poor volley trying to turn it out. Panico skies for it, though. That's the beauty of being 6'5".
That is an advantage. And I'll tell you, when your defenders know that your keeper's 6'5" and dominant in the air, what a relief that is. But you still have to communicate. You have to know when he's coming out and when he's not, and when it's your responsibility as a defender to sky up and get the clearance done.
2 minutes in the books of added time. Lindley. Dillon, nice run. Offside, though.
Dillon loves making that run from the inside outside to the left. And the players know it. You see them playing the ball to him, or Lindley playing that one and right before. Those are the things when we talked at the beginning of the match of the relationship between strikers and midfielders, getting to know these little nuances and what a player likes to do and how to play to him.
Lindley, good anticipation there from Soto. San Antonio running out of chances. Cuello.
You can see Lindley on this side pushing up Epps into a winger position.
Nice move by Cuello. Out wide, here's Ollie Wright. Edge of the box. Emil Cuello.
Need service. You need service. You can't waste the opportunity.
Leo Torres. Chips. Dillon. Again offside.
Really no excuse for that positioning.
But yeah, he's in an offside position.
Yeah, and you know where the last defender is. You're looking right at him. And it takes one step to your left to stay onside and then go back in after the service.
That's a good call by the assistant. Maybe a minute or so remaining. Quayle. Epps, diagonal run to the outside. Switched out to the left here, now cuts it back. He's got Ollie right there in the wing if he wants him. Epps turns one in. Doyle is trying to get in the position, could not. Released forward by Austin. And this will carry out. Gleedle.
Again, you got to create the service.
Leo Torres. Nice delivery in, headed. There's a go for Ollie Wright. Oh, what a chance. Good look at it. Ball was obviously bouncing and on edge, but that's a hell of a strike by Ollie Wright.
A lot of pressure being applied by San Antonio. It's great for them. Great effort being made.
And that might be San Antonio's last hope.
And they'll get the big numbers in the box. It's going to be a last service here.
Lindley, Epps, heavy touch, Akugo.
It's like your Hail Mary. Here we go.
Brought down. Austin clearing it into their bench. Center referee hasn't blown the whistle just yet. Cam Lindley. Another service into the box. Another clearance out. Soto just trying to settle here. Drives it out of the park.
That landed in Hero Stadium.
Full
There
time.
it is.
Matt Franz blows the whistle. And San Antonio FC sees their 18-match unbeaten streak at Toyota Field come to an end. A bitter end as they fall 1-0 to Austin Bold FC as they remain winless in their last 7 matches. As Austin Bold, 15 points, jumps above the playoff line, and Alan Marcina still looking for answers for his club. It was shut out for only the second time this season, Coach. They gave it a good effort there in the last 20-25 minutes, but could not break through. Just a clinical defensive performance by Austin this evening.
You know, I've always said at moments like this, you're riding a wave up to this point with so much success at home. But eventually that wave runs out, you crash and burn, you paddle back out, and you look for a bigger wave to ride. And that's what they have to do, regroup and find a bigger wave.
Well, San Antonio FC will have a bye week in USL Championship play, but they will welcome in an international showcase as they will take on Querétaro FC and Pumas coming up next week, Tuesday and Friday here on Bally Sports. But tonight it's a 1-0 loss to Austin Bold FC. Atesdi off the goal in the second minute, the only marker of the night. Now, for Hayden Partain and the coach Tim Hankins and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss saying so long. Your final, Austin 1, San Antonio 0. This has been a presentation of the USL Championship and Spurs Sports and Entertainment. Happy 4th of July, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
brings it inside the area with the visitors getting on their front foot early and getting into the back of the net early as well. Ate